Creators, welcome to DaVinci Resolve over 40 in 30 day 17. Today I had something absolutely wild planned for you. I did an interview with my buddy Mr. Camera Junkie, and I wanted to do this live and show you the whole process all the way through, but ran into some camera troubles, and now I have a bricked ZV-E10. But anyway, we did end up recording the interview, and now I'm going to show you how we did it. And I'll finish the edit now, okay? So listen, let's just dive in before we have any more drama. Okay, so I'm in Ecamm right now, and I want to show you important things that I set up in Ecamm in order to make this work. And that's right here in the Ecamm preferences. I have this box here to show that I'm recording, and I selected under record all broadcasts, of course, because that's the main thing. But I have isolated video tracks. And what this means is that I'm going to get a video track for myself and any of the guests that come in through Zoom. I'm using Zoom as the way to interview Mr. Camera Junkie. We used to have a built-in interview feature. As a matter of fact, it still sticks. We used to have Skype interview, but Zoom just works the best because of the way that it handles when people have terrible internet situations. The audio not so good, but that's okay because Ecamm overrides those Zoom settings and I get solid audio, but let's not get technical. Okay, let's pop back in. Okay, so we're here real quick, and then what I did was make sure that my camera A, that's this camera, the one that failed. Right now, it's a Canon PowerShot V1, and I'm recording that and grabbing my primary microphone, which is this one right here, Shure SM7 Bravo. Then down here for Zoom interview guests is as the guest audio, okay? The only thing that I did there was also I recorded that interview at 1080, but, you know, that's neither here nor there. What happens when we are done with this situation is we end up with a file. Let's go to my Ecamm Live recordings and pop this open. And we end up with files that look something like such. And that will be, I have these camera recordings and I have these audio recordings. And that's what we're going to use to get it popping inside of DaVinci Resolve. Okay, so we got that there. And let's call this a day. Let me cancel that because the reason why that was grayed out is that I was looking for a LUT file and I don't need that. So that was causing me a little bit of a weirdness. I almost panicked. I need this one that's 10 gigs. I think that's right. Okay, so let me just, I just want to make sure that I get the right one so that we get in. Okay, here we go. So I did go in and I renamed these so that the interview shot, which is this, and then the Mr. Camera Junkie shot, aka Luis, is this, and then my camera is this. Zoom active speaker is a way that Ecamm just automatically switch back and forth according to whom's talking. We don't need that. And I also have these individual audio files. These are backups. I don't necessarily need them, but if I was ready to use this and like supplement the audio just in case something happened, I would be triggering this because this is direct. The one that says main, that's a direct pull from my Rodecaster Pro. Okay, so let's pop up DaVinci Resolve real quick. And let's get in there and we'll just set this project up from the gate and, you know, do that thing. So while we're waiting for DaVinci to launch, the thing that's really cool about the way we're doing this is I'm able to do a multicam podcast edit without a lot of work. It's super, super simple. And it can be a fast way to get your podcast recorded with Ecamm with isolated tracks, edited and sent to where it needs to get sent as soon as possible. And that's what's really cool about this. Anyway, let's pop back in. So first thing I'm going to do is create a new project. And so let's just say new project. And then I want to paste in the title of my project. It's called I Got Questions with Mr. Camera Junkie. So we're going to paste that in. I'm also going to go down here and just click on project settings real quick. And I want to set this Teammate Line timeline up to 1920 by 1080 because, you know, podcasts don't need to get nuts. And my video is theoretically 30 frames per second. And then we should be good to go there. Everything else is all gravy. All right. So first thing I want to do is import these clips into the media pool. As you can see, I have them here. I'm going to select this main camera and the Mr. Camera Junkie's camera and my camera. And I'll just drag these guys into the media pool. And then we're good to go. I don't know why it wants me to change the frame rate, but I'll just change it just in case because, you know, no drama. And so here on this side here, let's embiggen this just a taste. All right, we have, you can see the thumbnail view. I really like the metadata view. I just think it's, I don't know, easier to see. You also have this view where you can see everything lined up. This is where my camera decided to eat it, that weird frame set right there. And then you can do list view. I primarily use metadata view. So the first thing we're going to do is take all three of these here clips, and we are going to right click upon thee, and we are going to say that we want to create a new timeline using the selected clips. Actually, no, I don't want to do that. I take that back. I want to go into the media pool here, select all three, right click on it and say create a new multicam using the selected clips. That's what I want to do. And then we're going to call this, again, let me paste in what I got. And then 30 frames per second. We're going to do this based off a time code. And we want the source audio channels. And actually, do I want to pick a particular channel? Nah, that's fine. We can run off of that. We don't need to make too many changes. Let's go ahead and say create. And now I got a brand new party off of this guy. So now I can create a new timeline using a selected clip. We'll paste that in. And I don't really need to adjust this. In reality, I'm going to probably end up with 2 video tracks and 2 audio tracks, but you can always add that later. And then I'm going to leave this based on selective, but the reality is we're really only going to want stereo, which is that's primarily what we would use. But I think I shot it in stereo anyway, so it doesn't matter. But just in case you would select that, okay? And then we have use project settings. You could also come here and change any of the format situations that you would want to at the same time. So let's go ahead and create that. And now we're going to pop over into the edit phase here. And then, so here is my master clip. First thing I want to do is right here is let's double click our big clip. So we got angle 1 is the interview. Angle 2 is Luis. Angle 3 is myself. And then what we're going to want to do is here in the timeline, in the bottom of the viewer, we want to change this to multicam mode. Okay, so that puts us in multicam mode right there. And then I don't think we need to do much else. However, what I would do for my own eyeballs, because I'm old, is bring this guy so we can see just a bigger WAV file, because we're just cutting, we're just cutting. So if I go ahead and give this a play for DaVinci, because it basically, all right, let me go past this a little bit. So see this big spike right here? Let me bring it to the center. This big spike right here is where I clap to pull sync. Really weird. You don't really need to do that the way that Ecamm records it, but I just did it so I have a visual. So I know what I'm going to do is come right here on the timeline. This is the right camera, and I do want a cut right there. So I'm going to just hit Command B. All right, that cuts this. Now I can select these 2 guys, and I believe if I do a shift delete, it'll automatically back up. Just to make sure we know what we're doing, we are going to switch to the full extent zoom, shift delete, and I did close that out. Aloha creators, you know what it is. All right, so that's working exactly how we wanted to do. Now, when I'm ready for Luis, all I need to do is click on his face. One thing that's cool about this, let me go back to Ecamm real quick. One thing that's cool about this is that if you do that, here's the thing. Let me make English make English. If you edit or at least quick chop your podcast the day you record it, all these things are fresh in your mind. So you don't have to watch, say, a 30-minute podcast in 30 minutes. You can use the speed keys inside of DaVinci to get through quick. And eventually, when I'm done teaching you guys, I'll just use the speed editor. And I just kind of kept this guy out of the party because I didn't want to confuse people and make them think that they needed to have a, $400 speed editor in order to use DaVinci. I just got it because DaVinci is $295 to get DaVinci full license, or $299. And this guy was $395. So for like $100, you just get that anyway. You still get DaVinci. Anyway, let me stop. Let me get back over here. Okay, so I'm gonna press play and I use the L key to speed it up. Because around here I have a series that I love. There, I'm gonna leave that. I'm gonna leave that where that is, okay? Because that's Luis, Mr. Camera Junkie. Why you pause right there? Like I don't know. Like I talk to you every damn day. How you doing, L?
I'm doing good, man. I'm happy to be a part of this. So let's see what we get into.
All right, so you know how it is. I start the session out always with the same question. Luis, what does it mean to you to be a creator today?
Well,
okay, so I'm in my spot. I can use my middle zoom key to get right where I want. I can slide this guy back.
Well, what?
All right, so let's do, I don't want to do the well. Let's cut him on the well, okay? So all I need to do, this is so cool with this guy, is put my razor in here and just click on Luis's face. And then I got Luis's face. However, it looks like my audio changed. I don't want the audio change. I only want the video to change, okay? So let's go back here. And then here in the bottom of this viewer window, you see I have some options. I got video only. I got video and audio. I also got audio only. So I'm going to click on video only. That's the most important part because all I want to do is switch camera angles. Now I can click on Luis's face and then play his answer.
Well, what it means to be a creator for me today is to have the ability to pursue my passions and actually try my best to provide the best life that I can for my son, which is giving me the ability to work from home. That also gives me the ability to spend all my time with him. So he's my main priority. And through content creation today, it gives
Okay, so I noticed that I came back in. So let me back this up.
something that I love.
All right, now I will click on the two of us. Why you got to bring nephew in right out the gate and try to make me cry when I'm trying to do the damn thing? Like, you know what I'm saying? Jerk, you could say that.
Well, you asked me why, and he is my purpose. So
I feel you. You know what's so dope about this to me as a person who created this community and then you being one of the first members to join when I decided to do it because we had literally just met a couple days before on the nickname stream is that the way our whole community... Okay, let me just play. Is this about where I want to get into something semi-serious? Is that the way our whole community just sort of wraps around nephew and like he's the star of the show. And that has a lot to say about you as a creator because you're... All right, I'm going to back this up. I think I changed my mind. The way our whole community just sort of... All right, so let me zoom this in. I think I'm about right here. Nickname stream is that... And then I'm going to go ahead and click on me. The way our whole community... One thing I want to point out that's really cool about this is as we're moving along in the timeline, I can see the other reactions here, which I think is super helpful because I know when to switch back just by looking at Luis's face. So for instance, if I move this really quickly, and I see he did a little mouth movement there, I can listen around here. I have to do it the way you do it. Maybe you would forget to teach him that. So it's kind of a blessing in disguise. All right, so this is a good space to switch back to the both of us because he has a reaction. My God, does he have a reaction? Okay, now before we step a little bit further, let me just play around here real quick. The way you do it, maybe you would forget that. Okay, so actually, it's better here. Here's what's cool. I can just grab this guy right in betwixt and just slide it back. Okay, not a lot of work, right? And now we're cooking with Pam. If you use the slash key under the question mark, didn't have to do it the way you do it. Maybe you would forget to teach him that. Didn't have to do it. Oh my God, see, that's just cool, right? So now we're going to move it along. Go ahead and let this play out. So it's kind of a blessing in disguise. You know what I mean? Our parents, they beat it into us. So nowadays you can't do that. So part of it is our upbringing. Like I think we would have some of it, but I think the naturality and the thing that's to me about being a creator and being your coach is that content creation is giving. So if you knew somebody else, all right, so let's get up to be that dad. Okay, so we're going to go to me because this is the question. So if you knew somebody else was looking at this and like they kind of want to get in the game, what would be an advice from you for somebody who almost had to do it from a necessity standpoint. Give it a meter, give it a second to marinate, switch back to Luis.
Oh, my advice will always be to start, and whether it's accurate or something like feeling has to you know.
Okay, come here.
That's a whole different conversation.
All right, this is funny.
Their dream.
Willing to, okay, let's go to the double. Willing to
In
AI
the
takes
content
them out.
creation space. That's a whole different conversation.
Sorry.
But
I go back to Luis.
at the same time, through content creation, you have the ability to also because what's that? You can also here, or you can download here from the
All right, man, this is so much better. Oh my God, I can fly through podcast edits like this. Okay, so let's keep going real quick. I think we're almost done. I don't know how long I made it. Some of this at the end is just me goofing. But let me fly through this real fast. Love that. Two things happens in that conversation. You mentioned be real. It was a light that was put together with foam core and duct tape. Like, see, in this part of the conversation, you need to see Luis's reactions because I'm kind of messing with him. This video. Okay, so let's get the question. This is a what's the word I'm looking for? No excuses type game. Like this is all or nothing, right? Switch to me. How would you describe that? And then any advice you have for someone when he's like, the excuses can't happen. This is not a thing.
Oh, that's good because I think I know what you're asking. And let me.
I don't know what I'm asking.
But it brings me. It brings me to.
Oh God, I love this. Like, what the hell?
I got this.
Like, what the hell?
I got this friend, Doc Rock. We usually hang out a lot and we always throw things at each other, you know?
No, that was fire, bro. That was fire. You inspired Kevin. Kevin's like, this is the perfect time to hear this sauce. I mean, that was great. You know, the whole time you think about apple tree, I'm thinking of like something kind of like an elder. And then there's like Mac Minis and iPads and headphones hanging off the joint. So stupid.
You just now threw that into a whole nother analogy.
I'm going to go to ChatGPT and be like, make an apple tree so that I can put it on this video as B-roll.
And a Samsung tree.
Oh, God. Okay, so here's a good point. You come in here, take this area, throw down a marker, and you can, I think you can name the markers. I haven't dove that far into it. Yes, you can. And then POSSIBLE, that's called cutaway shot of a pew tree. All right, there we go. So you can do that, and let's give ourselves a bright magenta marker so it's easy for me to see. So that way I know if I want to come back and add a cut here, I could go, I mean, not a cut, I could go and add a B-roll tree because I made a joke about going into ChatGPT and making the apple tree that had a tree that had Apple products on it. Anyway, he's stupid. You just ignore me. Go to ChatGPT and be like, and I'll let you fix them in. Some practical steps for people to just. I'm gonna grab this right here. I'm not gonna cut out the I like to leave it. Because it shows that I'm thinking, but I want to move it so that the cut doesn't cut on the it cuts here. Some practical steps for people to just kind of like, Taylor Swift. Yeah. And I did say this the other day. I don't know if I'm going to do it for a podcast because it might not be necessary, but I could do something like a quick little, 14 frame dissolve here. That's a little bit, I don't know. For podcasts, I feel that's a little cheesy. Maybe if it's a shorty, let's check it. Some practical. Yeah, that's a good one. That's not bad. So if you want in certain places, go through and do like a little quick 6-second dissolve. What's really cool is I can just jump back to all of the places where they all exist here. And then again, it's so cool. You just right click upon that, do a little 6 frame, tap down. That one is there. Tap down, do a little 6 frame, pop up, do a little 6 frame, pap, add one here. I don't know if there's a way to do these en masse. If anybody knows, let your boy know, because you make my life a heck of a lot easier. But these are just really quick. Plain cross dissolves aren't that bad. If you get like too crazy with it, you make them really long and like Telemundo romantic dissolve, that's a little psycho. Please don't do that. Right. How would you describe?
Oh,
there you go. I love how easy it is to do this. Again, I'm absolutely sure, knowing DaVinci and just the way people do things, there's probably a fast way to nail all of these suckers in a single do jammy. All right, let's go. We're almost there. Let's get it out. Some practical steps for people to just kind of,
okay. Okay, so what was I kind of got stuck on the second question. So repeat the first
people
one.
When you do interviews, don't cut here yet. Let me undo that last cut. Leave it together. We're both here.
Okay, well,
there we go. Now we'll come back to Luis. What happened is I asked him 2 questions in a row and he got lost in the second question. That's actually bad as an interviewer. Don't do that. That was my fault. What happens when you interview friends? Like, it's too comfortable and you kind of forget your best practices.
Okay, well, first thing is back to the same thing. It's actually just. And you start like from okay, but there's like one and I was just start using what is in as a yourself radio. Yeah, really start recording. It's not possible. That's like those yeah, just like adding time. And I just like break and I use ending yourself. Yourself. And branding yourself.
What are these?
And the first thing that yeah. Well, the first thing that I would say is
Dude, I love that. Because one of the things that's what and
well, the thing that I'm working on now is making credits with immigration camera. So I can go to the hold my head video, and I verbally in my mind, and I know it's legal for so now so also the good right for brands. So I'm having to do that.
Okay, listen, this is cool, right? Good thing is Luis is talking right now.
He starts taking off and.
But this is funny. Pay attention to the viewer. My camera just freaking died. Good thing is I was on Luis cut, but if I had been on the double cut, all I would have to do is cut away to the angle that's just Luis, and no one would see it. So what happens is, let me come out of here real quick. What happens is if something like that happens to you when you're live, don't panic. Try to keep it as smooth as possible. Tell your guests ahead of time during the tech check, hey, I'm having some weird camera issue. If my camera cuts off, just keep talking, just keep running the show, whatever. A lot of people don't say these type of things in their recording, and then the guest loses it. Luis just kept going, no biggie. I'm in his angle, knowing would even know that my camera went off other than the fact that you heard me on the microphone go, oh, my camera went off, but it wouldn't really throw much. So what's really cool about this multicam situation is I can see in the viewer exactly where it ate it and just keep going. I mean, no problem. So remember, like if you're doing something, recording, doing live stream, whatever, something goes wrong, don't panic. Don't even bring attention to it. Just keep it rolling. And if you train your guests to be able to keep doing this, you don't have a drama, right? All right, let's finish this up. We're almost there. We're almost done.
Big picture in the sky, so to speak, the blue sky picture is that really starts taking off. We're taking this as to and saying, we just follow and say that one and bring it to around.
Look how fast I put the camera back on, though.
You could then, supplement through the rig junkie side and vice versa.
Boom. So now I could cut back to us and see that frame. If I cut here, you're going to see the messed up camera. But if I go right there, we're good to go. Bingo. Keep it rocking.
I was dope. People who are watching the home version, I have my ZV-E10 finally gave it a go, so I'm using my ZV-E1. It doesn't know how to stay alive during these type of streams. When you put two of us talking, it's going to time out. Anyway, that my friends is my homie, Mr. Camera Junkie. Let's get a clean cut.
All right, so I did make a mistake here. Talking, it's going to time out. And actually, I can cut this whole section. So let me undo this and then hit the Command B, which will cover both. Anyway, that my friends is my homie, Mr. Camera Junkie. Let's get a clean cut. 1, 2, 3. All right, hit the camera, the Command B again. And again, we're just going to highlight both of these, use a Shift Delete to go ahead and close it up and hit that with the old, actually, I want this one on this and then hit it with a little dissolve real quick. Let's do 6 and then play through it.
So
that, my friends, is my homie, Mr. Camera Junkie. That, my friends, is my homie, Mr. Camera Junkie. That my season is my session of I Got Questions. L, how can they find you if they need to get a hold of you in these streets? Go ahead and click.
Well, if you want to find me online, you can always find me on
There you go. All right, I can come back to the two of us real quick. There you go. There you go. Family, listen up. Listen up close. Hold on, let me fix that. The funny thing is, I did a switch over. I didn't have to because it would have already been there. So let me catch it. There you go. There you go. Family, listen up. Listen up close. And then I'll switch here. Hold on, let me fix that. Family, listen up close. And then actually what I'm going to do is, hold on, let me fix that. Take this part right here and do a Command B. And then bring this right here. Also hit Command B. I'm going to change that blade key. By the way, that's going to irritate the crap out of me. That's not, I would probably put a better switch over. Listen up close. Family, listen up close. This is my series. I Got Questions. And you know what I say right here? I don't. There you go. Actually, I'm going to delete this part too.
Junkie.com.
There you go. There you go. I'm going to cut it right here. So what's cool is it's actually safer to just do this. And so like these and hit a Shift Delete. Then I'm going to do this. There you go. Family, listen.
.com.
There you go. There you go. Family, listen up close. This is my series. I Got Questions. And you know what I say right here? I don't know who needed to see this, but if it was you, let me know in the comment section below. If you were down to get interviewed on my I Got Questions series, you know the first question. You have no idea what the rest of them are going to be. Let me know in the comment section below, and we'll reach out and we'll get that done. Right about now, the algorithm is going to show you another video they think you should watch, and I agree with it. Okay, so this is the end, right? So all I got to do is, let's just throw a Command B in here. And then select these guys and delete them. And now we can get the full extent zoom. This, my friends, is done. Like absolutely done. All I would do is go to the output page and send it out. Of course, you know me, I'm gonna run the audio track through Auphonic, which you just right click upon this. And my brother said that you can normalize audio from directly in here. He did say that. And he did say that there's a way from in here to render out just the audio clips. But I don't see that. I think that's in the next page over in Fairlight. But yeah, my brother was throwing me some backup tips in here. Let me just check real quick up here if there's an export. No, you have to come over to Fairlight. If you bounce to Fairlight, you can grab this whole section here, right? And then you can right click upon it and you can export audio files and go from there. But we did that yesterday. We're not going to get into that. Friends, that is how simple it is to basically take a podcast or interview or something that you shot using Ecamm and legit just throw it up in DaVinci, chop it up real quick and get it out. Now, understand, if I'm not talking to you or teaching to you, I could cut that way faster than it really is. I forgot how long that total piece came out to. Let me go back to the edit page and see if I can see. It looks like I am at about 20-ish minutes. Yeah, it's at 19 minutes long for that interview. And I mean, literally, I could probably, without explaining everything to you, I could probably chop that 19-minute interview up in under 10 minutes because I'm able to move quick through, cut through. Now, of course, we can go and add some overlays and titles and all of that, which, you know, maybe adds another 5 minutes. But look, it's really simple if you just get in and just get to chopping. So DaVinci definitely makes this easier. My comfort level in Final Cut is so fast. I definitely could have done it in Final Cut faster, but not because Final Cut is better. It's because I'm a certified Final Cut instructor. I've been on Final Cut since version 1. I know my way around that sucker like I know my way around Japan. I'm learning my way around DaVinci, and so there's a little fumbling and bumbling. But you know what I'm going to do? Probably go cut a bunch of podcasts in a row until I get quick with it, because I can see where the time savings would be when it comes to shooting content, multi-camera for product video. Now you saw a multi-camera for doing an interview or a podcast. And yeah, you know what I say around here? I don't know who needed to see this, but if it was you, let me know in the comment section below. If you have an idea for something you want to see how we cut in DaVinci Resolve, drop that down in the comment section below as well, because we are basically 12 days before we are done. And I want to make sure I covered all of what you guys want to see. After this, we're going to dive into some AI things. I'm going to take this same video and see if we can make it even faster using the AI tools instead of just a multicam tool. Because again, efficiency equals consistency. Right about now, the algorithm is going to show you another video that thinks you should watch. And I agree with him. Chee-hoo!
I need to know everything, who and the what and the where, I need everything. Trust me, I hear what you're saying, but act like it's new what you're telling me. I'm curious, George, I hop in the Porsche, 5 and a horse, I'm ready for war, I'm coming for throats, to turn to a ghost, I need to know everything. Now you be surprised at the info you get is by letting them talk, so I'm letting them talk. Gotta keep quiet, maneuver in silence to let them in talk.